Hello kids, Namaskar. I am Partho Ghosh from the Vedic IQ and I will be taking you through this fascinating journey of Panchatantra. Through the stories of Panchatantra, you will learn about wisdom, friendship, courage and many other valuable virtues that will guide you throughout your life. But before we begin, let's start with a question. Do you know who is said to be the author of Panchatantra? Take a moment to think and when you're ready, choose your answer. If you chose Vishnu Sharma, you are absolutely right. It is Vishnu Sharma or Vishnu Sharman who wrote Panchatantra. But kids, how Vishnu Sharman came up with Panchatantra is also an interesting story in itself. Do you want to know how Panchatantra came into existence? Let me share the story with you. Once upon a time in the beautiful city of Mahilaropyam, there lived a wise and beloved king. The name of the king was Raja Amar Shakti. The city was blessed with abundance, greenery, joy and wealth. However, the king had a big problem in his life. All of his three sons, Bahu Shakti, Ugra Shakti and Anant Shakti were foolish and lacked wisdom. According to the king Amar Shakti, none of his sons could be the deserving successor of his throne. Realizing the dire need for his sons to learn and grow, the concerned king summoned his ministers and sought their advice. One of the ministers suggested the name of Vishnu Sharman, a renowned scholar respected by hundreds of disciples. The minister believed that Vishnu Sharman was the perfect person to tutor the sons of the king. The king, filled with hope, called upon Vishnu Sharman and humbly requested, "O venerable scholar, please take pity on me and train my sons to become great scholars. I will reward you with the lordship of 100 villages." Vishnu Sharman, known for his wisdom and integrity, replied, "O king, I do not want the riches. Give me 6 months, and if I fail to transform your sons into great scholars, you can ask me to change my name." Agreeing to the scholar's terms, the king entrusted his sons to Vishnu Sharman's care. The wise man took the three princes to his monastery and began teaching them the 5 strategies known as Panchatantra in Sanskrit, where Panch means 5 and Tantra means strategy. True to his words, Vishnu Sharman completed his task within 6 months. And from that day onward, Panchatantra became renowned all over the world as a guide for children, teaching them to solve the problems of their lives through the morals and values it imparts. So my dear kids, isn't it fascinating to learn how Panchatantra came to be? This ancient collection of stories holds timeless wisdom that can still guide us today. There are over 200 versions of Panchatantra in about 50 different languages and most of them are not from India. This book, like many from India, traveled to other places through scholars. Its journey began before the year 570 AD and it first appeared in a language called Pahlavi, which was used in ancient Persia. A scholar physician named Burzo translated it to Pahlavi from Sanskrit. This version was called Kalila Vadimna. The Arabic version became the source for many European versions of the Panchatantra, known in medieval Europe as the fables of Bidpai. According to a lot of researchers, Bidpai was another name of Vishnu Sharman. We cannot be sure if the Sanskrit text that Burzo translated into Pahlavi was the very first one or the version of the original. Between the 11th and 18th century, people translated the Panchatantra into Greek, Latin, German, Spanish, French, English, Armenian, Hebrew and many more. This journey of the Panchatantra is like a little adventure story. It was one of the first Indian work to travel outside of India. Even before the Panchatantra started its travels, some of its stories, which are also found in the Jatak Tales, had already traveled far from India. The Jatak Tales are stories about the Buddha's past lives and his teachings. Some of the stories of this book started as folk tales and became part of India's traditional stories. These stories have been told and retold for almost 2000 years. They were shared in temples, palaces, markets, and even under big trees in villages. Storytellers often added their own twists and changes to make the stories more interesting. Sometimes these stories were written down, and that's why we have different recensions of Panchatantra. But these versions are not all the same. They might have different stories, put stories in a different order, or change the way the stories are told. This happened because the storytellers like to make the stories their own by adding their own ideas and experiences. There have been at least 25 recensions of Panchatantra in Sanskrit. We have based our version of Panchatantra largely on Purnabhadra's recension, which is from around 1199 AD and later refined and translated by great authors like Johannes Hurtel and Arthur William Ryder. This version is longer and has some stories that the other versions don't have. We have also sought the texts from the translations by Pandit Jwala Prasad Mishra. With texts that have been orally told for a long time, it's hard to know what the very first version was like. Names of characters and places often change as the stories travel and get translated. And this is normal. There have been a lot of versions of the names of the jackals in the first book of strategy, like Karkat, Kartak, Kalilag, Salil, Belil, and Damnak, Dimna, Dimnak, so on and so forth. In the book 1, we have used the names Karkat and Damnak for the jackals, Sanjivak for the bull, and Pinglak for the lion, as close as to the original names in Purnabhadra's recension. Anyway, that's it for this video. In the next video, we shall explore the first strategy or the first tantra of Panchatantra called Mitrabhed, which means the loss of friends. But before we go, let us revise. So kids, tell me, how many strategies are there in Panchatantra? If you said 5, bravo, you are right. That's it for this video. I will see you in the next one. Until then, keep smiling and stay curious.